The Minions might be experts at causing chaos, but it turns out their movies are just as messy behind the scenes. In Minions: The Rise of Gru, there's a background moment that's stranger than anything the Minions do on purpose. Otto is walking with the Zodiac amulet, and in the yard behind him, a group of 4 kids are happily playing ball in the sun. One girl is easy to spot. She's wearing a bright yellow dress, and she's clearly black. But after Otto trips face first into the mud and the camera cuts back, something impossible happens. The same girl is still in the yellow dress, except now she has pale skin. And to make it weirder, a huge tree shadow suddenly appears over the yard that wasn't there before. Unless someone invented instant skin swapping and teleporting trees, this is pure animation chaos. In the same movie, Nunchuck is not the type of villain you'd want to meet in a dark alley. She's got her habit, her deadly skills, and of course, her signature nunchaku. During one big chase, she corners Gru and the Minions, pulls out the weapon, and hurls it straight at them. The scene switches to slow motion, giving us every detail in crystal clarity. And that's when it gets bizarre. Instead of the usual 2 sticks, her nunchaku now has 4, not 2, 4. Unless she invented some mutant super nunchaku while no one was looking, this makes no sense. In slow motion, there's no hiding behind speed blur. The weapon just magically doubled, and we all saw it. In the first Minions movie, Bob decides his cuddly teddy bear needs to look a little scarier. During the villain convention, he walks up to a recruiter's table, grabs some paper, and, somehow, duct tape. But here's the problem. If you rewind the scene just a few seconds before, that table is completely bare except for the paper. No tape anywhere, not hiding under anything, not rolling away, nothing. Yet in the very next shot, Bob is already wrapping it around his bear like it was sitting there the whole time. Either Bob is a master pickpocket for office supplies, or the duct tape simply spawned out of thin air. Forget magic tricks, the Minions have mastered teleportation. Let's go back to The Rise of Gru for a moment. There's a cozy scene where Bob wakes from a nightmare and asks to sleep in Gru's room. As he climbs into bed, you can see the wall behind Gru's head is covered in posters of his idols, including one of Wild Knuckles. It's right there, pinned neatly in place. But then Kevin shows up and squeezes into bed too. And suddenly, the Wild Knuckles poster is gone. No tear marks, no curling paper on the floor, just an empty space where it used to be, like it was never there. Turns out this movie is prone to mistakes that make zero sense. While Otto is carrying the precious Zodiac amulet, he trips and faceplants straight into a patch of thick mud. He's covered head to toe, dripping brown sludge. Then he spots the amulet flying through the air and chases it, hopping onto a small children's slide. Logically, a slide might smear the mud a bit, but it's not going to scrub him spotless. Yet by the time Otto launches into the air to grab the amulet, he's gleaming like he just stepped out of a bubble bath. No stains, no dirt. Either that slide doubles as a high-speed washing machine, or Otto has access to some next-level cartoon dry cleaning. In a different scene from The Rise of Gru, the timeline somehow gets even messier than before. Gru proudly states he's 11 years old, and the story is clearly set in 1976. Simple enough, until the camera shows a movie theater with a giant Jaws poster on the marquee. The problem? Jaws came out in 1975. That means this moment should be happening the year before, which would make Gru 10, not 11. But the franchise already has him aging in strange, impossible ways. So maybe this is just one more layer of chaos. Either the theater is screening retro films before retro was cool, or the Minions have been tampering with time itself. Honestly, with them, it wouldn't be surprising. There's a strange little moment during Gru's first attempt to reach the Vicious Six's secret hideout. He walks into a record store, chats with the man behind the counter, who just happens to be a younger Dr. Nefario, and plays a vinyl backwards to reveal a hidden elevator. Nefario stands there, watching closely, almost like he's judging Gru's technique. But when the elevator doors open and Gru steps inside, Nefario is nowhere to be seen. No turning away, no walking out of frame. He just vanishes between cuts, as if the store swallowed him whole. Either Nefario mastered invisibility long before becoming Gru's gadget guy, or the animators forgot he was supposed to still be standing right there. In the first Despicable Me, there's a tiny detail at the orphanage that makes no sense. When Margot, Edith, and Agnes return from selling cookies, they report to Miss Hattie. On the floor in front of her desk, there's a bold "Do Not Cross" line, clearly marking where the kids have to stop. The girls stand right behind it at first, but in the next shot, they're suddenly much closer to the desk, well past the line. Here's the weird part. The line itself is gone. No faint marks, no paint peeling, nothing. It's like the floor decided to erase its own boundary. Either Miss Hattie had it removed mid-conversation, or that line just walked off the job entirely. In the short Minions and More mailroom, there's a blink and you miss it prop change that's almost unsettling. Two minions are sorting packages when one of them gets transformed into a wild purple monster. Instead of panicking, his co-worker bursts into hysterical laughter. When the laughing starts, he's clearly holding a Game Boy. It's right there in his hands, buttons and all, but without tossing it, dropping it, or even moving his arms, the Game Boy is suddenly gone. And now he's holding a bag of popcorn. No crumbs falling, no magical poof effect, just an instant swap. Unless minions have learned how to turn electronics into snacks, the only explanation is that the animators decided mid-shot that he was hungry instead of gaming. Out on the road, the minions try their luck hitchhiking, and a colorful hippie van pulls over to pick someone up. The camera gives us a clear view of its license plate, D6413. Seems normal, until moments later, a completely different car appears. This time driven by an old lady who can barely see over the wheel. She's wearing glasses thick enough to stop a bullet, and yet somehow, her car has the exact same plate number. Two vehicles, same registration, back to back. Unless this is some secret criminal car cloning operation, it's more likely a little shortcut in the animation department. Still, it's hard not to imagine these two drivers getting into a real-life traffic dispute over who owns that plate. During Gru's visit to the Bank of Evil, Mr. Perkins keeps a solid distance while giving his intimidating little speech. He's standing several meters away, big and looming behind his desk. But then, mid-conversation, the camera angle shifts and suddenly Perkins is right next to Gru, close enough to crush an apple in his face. There's no shot of him walking over, no shuffling footsteps, nothing. It's as if this massive man teleported across the room in a single frame. For someone his size, that's either incredibly impressive or deeply alarming. Maybe he's secretly faster than the minions on caffeine, or maybe the scene just decided he should be close enough to menace Gru without bothering to explain how he got there. Scarlet's big coronation is supposed to be a grand, uninterrupted event. Inside the cathedral, sunlight pours through the windows, casting bright beams across the floor. Everything looks calm and golden. But after the minions cause chaos and crash through the stained glass, the outside world is suddenly unrecognizable. It's pitch black, rain is pouring down, and the whole mood has shifted from royal celebration to gothic horror. There's no gradual change, no clouds rolling in, no time skip, just instant weather apocalypse. Either London has the fastest storms in history, or someone forgot the first half of the scene was drenched in sunshine. The shift is so jarring it feels like the minions didn't just ruin the coronation, they broke the laws of nature. Lucy's first meeting with Gru is already awkward, but it gets messier, literally, when she smashes cupcakes right into his face. Frosting, crumbs, and icing go everywhere, coating his cheeks and getting all over his scarf. But here's where it stops making sense. Lucy's hands, which should be covered in sticky frosting, are completely spotless. Not a smear, not a sprinkle. Then, in the very next shot, Gru's scarf looks perfectly clean too, like the cupcake ambush never happened. No wiping, no washing, no sign of a cleanup. Either Gru has frosting repellent fabric and Lucy's hands are immune to mess, or the whole disaster just conveniently vanished between cuts. That's one way to make a food fight look like it never happened. Lucy takes Gru down fast. One zap from her gadget and he's flat on the ground, completely out cold. When he falls, his freeze ray lands right next to him, easy to spot on the pavement. But as soon as Lucy grabs him by the ankles and starts dragging him away, the weapon is gone. It's not in her hands, it's not strapped to her, and it's definitely not rolling around nearby. One second it's there, the next it vanishes like it never existed. Either someone snatched it in the split second before she moved him, or Gru's gadgets have a built-in disappear when unconscious mode. If that's true, it's both genius security and a total nightmare for continuity. When the Anti-Villain League briefs Gru on the theft of a top-secret Arctic lab, they flash the crime scene's coordinates on a massive screen. It's supposed to be deep in Antarctica, surrounded by nothing but ice and penguin. But if you actually plug those numbers into a map, they land in South Sudan. That's right, blazing heat, dusty plains, and zero chance of seeing a single glacier. Either the AVL got their latitude and longitude hopelessly mixed up, or the thief decided to hide an Arctic base in the middle of the African savannah. It's a hilarious mismatch that completely breaks the scene. Penguins and parkas wandering around Sudan? Now that's a movie the Minions would probably love to mess with. That's our list of the strangest Minions mistakes you never noticed. Now here's the real question. Are these happy accidents? Or is Illumination secretly trolling us? Tell me what you think below, and hit that bell icon so you'll be here for the next mystery.